From Manny to Confidant, a single mom's life-changing journey. True story. Some stories don't announce themselves with fireworks. They begin quietly, like the faint rustle of leaves before a storm, or the whisper of a change you don't yet recognize as the turning point of your life. For Amelia Carter, a 36-year-old architect balancing deadlines, blueprints, and the untamed chaos of raising twin boys alone, that turning point arrived on the day a stranger walked into her house carrying nothing more than a smile, a calm voice, and the kind of steady presence she hadn't realized she'd been longing for. Amelia's life had become a puzzle with too many jagged edges. Her days started before sunrise, juggling the twin demands of Jasper and Finn, two energetic 7-year-olds, and the endless churn of clients and construction sites. Her separation from her husband had left her stretched thin, a single parent caught between exhaustion and the weight of trying to keep everything together. The truth was, Amelia was drowning. And when a close friend suggested she look into hiring help, Amelia resisted. A nanny? It felt like admitting failure. But after one too many nights spent crying quietly into her pillow while the boys finally slept, she conceded. She needed help. When the agency suggested a male nanny, her hesitation was instant. Something about it unsettled her. She pictured a revolving door of disinterested babysitters who might treat her children like a job instead of the center of their world. But then she met Caleb Walker. From the moment he arrived, tall, lean, with a voice as warm as honey and eyes that seemed to smile even before his lips did, something shifted. Jasper and Finn, notorious for testing every boundary, didn't just accept him. They lit up in his presence. He knelt down at their level, listened with genuine interest, and within minutes had them laughing as though he had always been part of their world. Over the weeks that followed, Amelia watched in quiet awe as Caleb navigated tantrums, bedtime rituals, and the chaos of dinner time with effortless patience. He built towers of blocks only to collapse them in theatrical slow motion, and he spun bedtime stories that left the boys wide-eyed with wonder. But what surprised Amelia most wasn't just how much her sons adored him, it was how his calm steadiness seemed to soothe something deep inside her, something frayed and fragile she thought she'd hidden well. She caught herself lingering at the doorway more than once, watching the way his hands gently steadied her son's small shoulders, or how his laugh filled the house in a way that made the walls feel warmer. And when his eyes occasionally met hers, holding her gaze just a moment longer than necessary, she felt a flicker of something she had buried since her marriage ended. Something she was afraid to name. One Saturday afternoon, with Jasper and Finn away at their grandparents' farmhouse, Amelia decided to finally tackle the chaos of her garage. The space was overflowing with old toys, baby clothes, and forgotten projects. She was kneeling in a pile of boxes when a familiar voice, edged with humor, drifted through the doorway. "Looks like you could use a Sherpa for this expedition." Startled, Amelia jerked up and smacked her forehead against a low shelf. She turned, wincing, to find Caleb standing there, holding 2 frosted lemonades. "You startled me," she laughed nervously, rubbing her forehead. "I thought you had the day off." His grin widened as he stepped inside. "I was running errands and figured you might need reinforcements. And hydration." The simple thoughtfulness made something warm unfurl in her chest. She accepted the lemonade, their fingers brushing for the briefest second, and felt a spark she quickly tried to ignore. "You always show up at just the right time." "Part of the job description," he replied lightly. "Keep the little humans alive and prevent the big human from spontaneous combustion." They laughed together, but underneath, the air felt charged in a way neither could quite disguise. As they worked side by side, lifting heavy boxes, swapping childhood stories, and teasing each other over music tastes, Amelia felt herself relaxing in a way she hadn't in years. He made the garage lighter, not just in order but in spirit. At one point, she sank onto an overturned bucket, sipping her lemonade. She looked at him, sweat dampening his shirt, a smile tugging at his lips, and said softly, "You've been an anchor, Caleb. I don't know how I would have managed without you." He paused, his eyes meeting hers, steady and sincere. "You're stronger than you think, Amelia. You've been carrying so much, but you're not alone." "Not anymore." The words hung between them, heavy with meaning, until the sudden rumble of the garage door broke the moment. Their neighbor entered cheerfully, returning a borrowed tool. Amelia and Caleb exchanged a quick glance, both silently acknowledging the fragile, unspoken current that had just been interrupted. But the memory of it lingered. In the weeks that followed, that undercurrent only deepened. Their hands brushed a little too often. Their eyes lingered a little too long. And one quiet evening, after the boys were asleep, Amelia offered him dinner. Sitting across from each other at the kitchen island, they shared stories they had never spoken aloud. She confessed the loneliness of divorce, the nights of doubt and fear. He shared his own childhood, growing up without a father, and the reasons he had chosen this unconventional path, wanting to give children the stability he never had. When her voice cracked and tears threatened, Caleb didn't pull away. Instead, he reached across the counter, his hand warm as it folded around hers. "You don't have to carry this alone, Amelia." The simplicity of it, the honesty, cut through every wall she had built. She didn't answer, but she didn't pull her hand away either. Life moved on, but something had shifted. Their home was no longer just a place of survival. It was becoming a place of healing, of laughter, of tentative hope. And one golden afternoon, while walking through the park, Jasper looked up at his mother and said in the blunt innocence only children have, "Mommy, you smile more when Caleb's here. You laugh louder too." Amelia's breath caught. Across the playground, Caleb was pushing Finn on the swing, his eyes meeting hers with a soft smile that said he'd heard every word. Maybe this wasn't the life she had planned when everything had fallen apart. But as she stood there, heart thudding with the possibility of something new, she realized that sometimes the best chapters begin when you least expect them. And maybe, just maybe, Caleb Walker wasn't just her son's nanny. He was the steady sunrise after the longest night of her life.